Hello and welcome back to Heart and Soul's Yoga Life channel. My name is Henrika, and today I want to look with you at self-abandonment. Are you one of those really good people who are so lovely that you are entirely focused on everybody else's needs and making sure that they are happy and that they are looked after and that they have everything that they need, to your own detriment? Do you sometimes forget what it is that you want or need, or aren't actually really clear about this? I often see this in women, for example, who are raising a family and who, after a few years or a few decades even, when asked what it is that they want and need, actually don't even have real clarity and words around what it is that's important for them, because they've been so focused on everybody else. Now, if you are doing that and you are really happy and really fulfilled and you feel that your cup is full, there's something that you're doing right, and it probably lies in the reciprocity where giving and receiving is happening nicely and equally. The problem is that for many people, the reciprocal factor is missing. And so by giving, and refusing to receive, or at least not allowing themselves to receive, probably not even being able to tell other people what they need, people are then really unhappy, and that can lead over time to burning out, to being really exhausted and tired, and also to resentment towards the people that you're giving to if you feel they don't give enough back. I read this really beautiful parable the other day, and there's also a nice video that I'm going to link in the comments for you, around heaven and hell. So I'll paraphrase the story really briefly, but I think you're going to get the gist. So the story goes that there was an elderly lady who one day had an accident and had a near-death experience, but after a while, she woke back up, and when she did, she was bursting with excitement and shared with the people around her that she had a really profound experience and clarity around what heaven and hell are. So she said, "When I came to hell, there was a door, and as I opened the door, I looked into a room, and there was this magnificent feast on a table. All the food you could imagine. It looked absolutely amazing. But the people sitting around the table were starving, were hungry, were unhappy, and they looked really, really down. What was happening was that they all had really long spoons, and no matter how they would angle them and how hard they would try, they just could not feed themselves with those spoons. So despite having this amazing feast, everybody went hungry. They were all trying harder and harder with different techniques, poking each other, etc. And nobody was happy, and people were skinny." So then she says, "I got to have a glimpse at heaven as well. And interestingly enough, as I opened that door, the picture I saw was basically the same. There was a massive table, all the lovely foods you can imagine, a fantastic feast. However, the people sitting around the table were happy, were fulfilled, were really relishing that wonderful food. The only difference was that these people also had these overly long spoons, but they, instead of trying to feed themselves and failing, they picked up this wonderful food and fed the people across the table. So they all were cooperating, they all were sharing and helping each other out. And so by doing this, everybody was getting their needs met and everybody was happy." And she said this was so astounding. Now I really know what heaven or hell is. It's not a place. It's not about what you have or you don't have. It's just about whether it is selfishness that reigns, or whether it is that people are supporting each other, are serving each other, and everybody gets their needs met in that context. And that was a huge revelation. Where the parable comes from, I don't know. I would quote it, but I will, as I said, share the link to that little 1.5-minute video that shares this in a really beautiful way. So how does this relate to self-abandonment, to being a martyr, to being a people pleaser and giving more while starving yourself? The idea isn't necessarily that you need to give more, or that you need to become selfish and find yourself a little spoon to feed yourself and not feed others anymore. The idea is that you need to create a system of reciprocity. And whilst it might sometimes feel like other people aren't looking after you as well as you are looking after them, it's up to you to make that happen and to take the steps necessary to allow them to feed you and to fill your cup as well. Because often what happens is when we are in this people-pleasing sort of environment, and a lot of us are raised in societies or in religious contexts or in family systems where it is frowned upon to be selfish and look after yourself. And it's all about, especially for women, all about giving to others and putting others first. It's about learning and becoming able to communicate what your needs are and make sure that they are being met as well. Because how can you expect other people to just guess what it is that you need, to just know, or to come out of the woodworks and just start behaving in the same people-pleasing way, especially between men and women. Men are often socialized in those societies, in those families, in quite the same way. So it's unfair to expect that of them unless you have clearly communicated what it is that you need. So what are the steps that you need to take? Number one is to reframe this whole idea around selfishness. Like I said, in a lot of religious contexts, societal contexts, especially for women, the idea is that you should be overgiving, that you should be over-nurturing, that it should all be about others and never about yourself. So that is a reframe you need to make in your own head. And it's not so much about becoming selfish here. It's about how about it was about becoming sustainable. Because what happens when you overgive over a long period and your own cup isn't filled? It breeds resentment, it breeds an emptiness inside of yourself, and you might eventually shut down emotionally to the degree that you feel ready to walk away. And then who wins? Nobody does, not the people that you have been giving so much to and potentially not even allowed to give back to you. So make sure that you stop seeing the receiving end as selfishness or looking after yourself, doing what's good for you as being selfish, and learn how to see that in order for you to be able to continue giving and give more, you need to fill your cup first. That's the first thing I want you to do. Really realize that filling your cup is almost a duty you have, not only to yourself, but also to your family, so that you can give with this joyous energy. Also remember, if it is in a family context, if you have daughters, really if you have children at all, you are also serving as a role model to them. And you probably wouldn't want your daughters to learn to self-abandon, or your sons to learn either to self-abandon or to expect their women in the future to self-abandon for them. So that's a really important one to also see, that not only this is a problem for you, but you're also perpetuating that narrative in your own family if you're not willing to step up and stop that behavior. If you are finding that you have a lot of unresourceful stories in your head about what it means to be selfish and that this behavior isn't okay, then it might be time to look at your family and your system of origin and do your homework there. Really observe, who have you learned this behavior from? How has this been playing out? And maybe it has played out for other people in a healthy and effective way. Again, if there is reciprocity and people are receiving as well as giving, this might actually work really, really well, like the story in heaven with the long spoons. So then, if you can see that in your system of origin it is working, then see what it is that is being done in this system that you need to implement into your life so you can have the same good results. However, if you look at this system of origin and the results aren't right, and people are unhappy and they are starving and they are resentful and probably playing the martyr, kind of having these expectations of, after everything I've done for you, now you should be doing XYZ for me. That's not really a healthy way. So if within your own system of origin you don't have role models from who you can learn how to do this better, start, and this is my tip number 3, start looking for healthy role models. Start looking for people who are getting this balance right, who have, for example, healthy boundaries and who have clarity around what it is that they can give to others, what it is that they can put out and are willing to do, versus how they are able to say no, hopefully in a kind and respectful fashion, so that it doesn't become this really angry, bully kind of no, but just a really self-serving, in a positive way, no, where you know that you only have so many resources you can give, so much time that you can dedicate, and you are making really good and healthy choices based on good and healthy priorities about what it is that you can give and that you can't give. And look at those role models as well in terms of how they are communicating these things. How are they communicating their needs so that other people can healthily reciprocate with them? How are they communicating their boundaries? And how are they getting that balance right? You can talk to those people and ask them and really learn from them. It's basically a reprogramming process. You want to reprogram yourself from a healthy blueprint, from someone who has the results, both in terms of having good relationships with other people and also having a cup that's really filled. So that's really, really important as well. And then from that, start to set your own healthy standards about what it means to be a good person. Because if your old sense of a good person is warped, that only someone who gives and never takes anything for themselves, that's a good person, you're probably going to perpetuate that system. So in your new world, in the world that you want to create for yourself, in your new reality, what does it mean to be a good person? What are the standards? What are the criteria? Who has, like, what kind of boundaries do you have? What kind of things does that kind of good person do? And what kind of things are they no longer willing to do? So really gain clarity and construct your own idea so that you have basically a new blueprint for an identity of being a good person that works for you in this regard. And then hopefully you can either surround yourself with people who are willing, like you are, to feed each other with those long spoons. You are able to communicate what it is from that heavenly table that you need and that you want. And if there are people who are not willing to feed you and to cooperate with you, have those healthy boundaries so that you are not the only one on that long spoon table who sits there straight out of hell, not being fed, because that's not right and not fair either. So I hope this is good food for thought. It's in the end of the day about being loyal to yourself. We want to be loyal to others, but we also want to be loyal to ourselves. So as always, share your thoughts if you want in the comments. Maybe share examples of how you have managed to step out of an unhealthy overgiving into a healthy loyalty to yourself. And as always, if you like our content, then please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button so that we can update you when we have new content coming up. Thank you very much and see you again soon.